Hey everybody, welcome back to Practical Liberty. My name's Henry Bingaman, and this is going to be a special mini episode. I might do more of these in the future. We'll see how people react to this, I guess. If you like it, just definitely like, comment, send me some email feedback. I'd like to know if this is something you find valuable. So I'm doing this because I got a question from my email list about how you go from a fee-based copywriter to a fee plus royalty copywriter. And it's a super important question that a lot of people have because getting paid based on performance or based on a royalty is the only way to really make seriously good money as a copywriter. You can get up to six figures, $150,000 maybe as a fee-based only copywriter. But if you want to get to that point, you're talking about more than a full-time schedule worth of work. But going beyond that is really difficult unless you start getting paid for performance. And it's not just copywriters. If this was just copywriters, maybe I wouldn't have done this video specifically, but I think anybody can use these techniques to get paid for performance when you're doing any type of freelance or contract job. And contracting work it's really the future of work, the way I see it. The corporate structure is more and more oppressive. Less and less people want to go into it. So if you want to have a free lifestyle, if you want to have a lifestyle that kind of you can mold around your own work, you need to get paid for performance or sell your own product. So I think the easiest way to get into this is freelancing or contracting. And so knowing how you would even start to get paid for performance is a great just foundational building block for anybody looking into a contracting or freelance career. There are 5 short but important points I want to cover in this video, so let's dive into it. So the first thing you have to do is you have to change your positioning from a service provider to a profit provider. So obviously in copywriting, this makes a lot of sense I'm going to write you X and it's going to bring you in X amount of dollars. This gets very challenging for a lot of people because they view themselves as service providers. They view the business owner's job as the one to bring in the money, and their job is to provide ancillary services in some way or another. So this is less of a problem for, say, sales letter writers. People that write sales letters know that they're making the money. So in that circumstance, it's really easy to prove to a client that this work product generated this amount of money, therefore I should get this percentage of it. But it doesn't actually matter the type of work you're doing. Even if you're just writing content, doing SEO, producing videos, your job is to prove to the client the specific dollar value or put a dollar value on the actual work you're doing. Show them that if I do this, it will generate this much money for you and I deserve this cut of it. Again, what you're proving to the client is that you can increase their sales. Now, there's a couple ways to measure this. You can just do, if you hold all other elements static, I'll get a percentage of the increase in sales you see over this next period. That's one way to do it, especially if you're doing something that's a little harder to prove the dollar value on. But it's your job to prove to the client, because it's not that the client doesn't know your work is valuable. They wouldn't be hiring you if they didn't think what you were doing provided a value for them. But it's your job to sit down and put the dollar figure on that value to prove that you're providing a profit, not just a service that's, a pain in the butt for this client to have to hire out. And that leads directly into our second point. You have to define measurable results. So let's use SEO as an example, and I'm going to use some round numbers that don't exactly track with the reality of the SEO game, but they're good for illustrative purposes. Let's say you get a local accountant to the number 1 spot in Google, and that gets them 10,000 local visitors a month. And those visits are worth $1 each on average. So that's $10,000 a month. And the number 2 position on Google gets you 2,000 visitors a month. So that's $2,000 a month. Well, that's an $8,000 difference. So if you tell somebody that you'll get them to the number 1 spot on Google from the number 2 spot, and you can prove that those numbers bear out, that's an $8,000 difference. So don't you think it would be easy to negotiate? Like, oh, if I get you to the number 1 spot on Google, you'll pay me a $3,000 bonus or a one-time $7,000 bonus. That's actually not hard to negotiate once you can prove those numbers out. Whatever it is, when you're asking for a performance bonus, it has to be measurable. It has to be objective. So what you want to do is be able to define objective terms that you can improve the client's, whether it's page views, SEO rankings, especially sales for copywriters. This is what makes the most sense. If you're writing sales letters, getting a percentage of the sale is the best way to do it. But So say I have a person I've hired to help me create a product, and I think it's going to be a great product. They think it's going to be a great product. So what we could potentially arrange, and I've actually done this arrangement in the past, is if I hit X $1,000, so say I hit $100,000, you get a $2,000 bonus for helping me create this product. If I hit $200,000, you get another $2,000 on top of that. If I hit $500,000 in sales, which is, maybe a stretch goal for me in my business, then I'll give you a $10,000 bonus on top of that. Now that really incentivizes the person I'm working with to do the best job they can to create the best product. But also, in my mind, it costs me almost nothing because of the next point I'm going to make. And that is, you want to negotiate to get paid out of future profits. So those are profits that you bring in. People don't view, and every company is just run by a person, right? So people don't view future profits as money in their pocket right now. So they don't view it as an actual cost. Just think about it for a second. If I say, when I make you $1 million, I want you to pay me a $25,000 bonus, people are happy to agree to that because I haven't actually made them the $1 million and it's conditional on me actually giving them $1 million that they don't have right now. But if I say pay me $25,000 and I'll make you $1 million from some work I do for you, well, they're going to be a whole lot more skeptical. That's a much bigger risk for them, and that's money that has to come out of their pocket right now. So always negotiate to get paid out of future profits. And that leads to the next point. You want to put yourself as close to the sale as possible. Now, this makes a lot of sense for pretty much everyone. This isn't hard to understand, right? The closer you are to bringing in the money specifically, the easier it is to negotiate to get paid out of that future money. So, for example, when I write a sales letter, I charge for front-end promos, which means usually products under $200, let's say. I think the actual number I negotiate with clients is under $250. It's the initial sale that you make to a client. So most of the front-end promotions I do are $39, $49, or $79. Those are the numbers that work for whatever reason. And I can say, I write this promotion that directly links to this order form that I've also written, and I will get paid X percentage of the sales from this. Now, that's really easy for people to agree to because it's really easy to say people landed on this page, they read this copy that I wrote, and they directly gave you money from it. Now, that's not to say if you back out further from the process of that, from that direct sale, that you can still get paid a percentage. There's a lot of email copywriters that link to my promotions. They get paid a percentage of the sale or get paid, X dollars per click or X cents per click or X dollars per conversion. There's a lot of ways to negotiate this. And this is the beautiful thing about freelancing is you have total control over your income. You can negotiate any contract you want. This is a free market system. I mean, to some degree, there's obviously some limitations on that. But as a contractor, you can negotiate any rates, any compensation scheme you want. So your ability to get paid is really only limited by your imagination and your ability to negotiate contracts. Again, you want to put this all in writing in a contract, but contracts are simple. Now, I have a course coming out that's going to be on the cornerstones of liberty, and I'm going to give away, for the people that buy, I'm going to give some examples of the contracts I've done in the past so you can see. But honestly, these contracts are not hard to write. You don't need a lawyer to go through it, line by line, sentence by sentence. A lot of times, just having an understanding with the client will work very well, and it'll get you paid. But only if you follow the last rule that I have, and that's only work with companies that have a reputation to maintain. So I have a royalty deal that I did with a client that's been using a sales letter of mine for, I think, 7 years now. And they're paying me tens of thousands of dollars a month. The number doesn't matter. But I found a flaw in their reporting. And I wasn't aggressive about it. I just asked the question. I said, hey, this doesn't look right. Can you look into this? And that they went back and they did an audit of their own books, and they found that they owed me several $100,000. And they're paying it. And this is all on just a bare bones, basically handshake agreement, where we have some emails back and forth defining the understanding. But the reason they're paying this is because they want to be able to hire other copywriters in the future. And if they screw me over now on a number that, they could have lied to me, but you have to work with people you trust. So they're paying me this money. Now it's over a course of, they're divvying it up because they can't pay it all at once just for budgeting reasons. But if you work with companies that have a reputation to maintain, that need to be able to hire other freelancers, other people in your industry, people don't want to ruin their reputation. Reputation is worth a lot more than money to people making tens of millions of dollars a year. So if you have a client that's making, in their business, they're profiting to the tune of millions of dollars a year, and you point out something where they're going to owe you $10, $20, $100,000, they're going to pay it just to maintain their reputation. And that's not to say, I love the guys that work at this company. I'm not going to name them, but it's a great company. They're great people. But it's also, they're paying me because they have a reputation to maintain. And they want to be able to hire people like me in the future. So just to sum up, the first thing you have to do is be able to make the sales. You have to be really good at your job to be able to get paid for performance. You also have to take the risk on your own shoulders. You have to be willing to say, like, I'm going to take a lower fee up front in order to get paid more on the back end. Again, this future money thing is probably the biggest lesson I can teach you. If you're always negotiating at a future money, and it's somebody that will pay you that because they have a reputation to maintain, and you can do the work to actually make them money, this is how you get really, really rich as a freelancer in almost any job. All right, that's the short mini episode for this week. If you thought this was valuable, if you think there's things I missed, let me know. Leave a review on iTunes and Spotify. That actually really helps me out with the algorithms. And I'm recording 2 really important episodes this week. Anyway, I'll see you Friday. Thanks for tuning in. All right, that's the episode for this week. And remember, go grab my Levels of Liberty tactical checklist. Again, I put this together as a simple guide to help you kind of assess how free you are in your own life and then how to climb up the different levels of liberty. So you can grab that at henrybing.co/liberty. That's henrybing.co/liberty. All right, see you back here next week.